What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. This is the Draftkings picks and prediction show for UFC Vegas 77. We have Holm going against Mayra Bueno Silva. We have a 13-fight card, and we're going from one of the best cards of the year in last week, UFC 290, to one of the worst cards in the year, UFC Vegas 77. But we're going to talk some Draftkings. We are here with Gordo and Monk. We'll start with you, Gordo. What is up? You looking forward to UFC Vegas 77?
I am, and let me just say, last week's card was absolutely amazing. It was one to remember, and it's a bit of a jump to this one. We do have fights nonetheless, so you can't really complain, but the truth is, I was staying up late watching tape on Ashley Evans Smith, on Viktoriia Dudakova, Carl Deaton, and I fell asleep, and I woke up to a nightmare in that the big ticket isn't fighting anymore. So we do lose one. We keep her going, though. 13 fights. Excited to hear what you guys got to say about it.
So we got Monk in the building. What is up? You looking forward to this card?
You know, some weeks, the bear gets you, and some weeks you get the bear. And this week, I think the bear has gotten us, man. This is, I'm trying to find some silver lining. I don't like to complain about fights because I honestly do love fights. We all do. That's what we're doing here. But, man, this card leaves a lot to be desired, especially in DraftKings betting. I mean, you might just want to touch some grass this week.
Yep. Luckily, I will not be watching the card this weekend. I'm actually going to go to a concert, so I will not be watching the card. Which is, if I'm going to miss a card, it's going to be this one. So
who are you going to see?
My father-in-law. He's a rock star.
Oh, nice. I was thinking like Drake or Taylor Swift.
No, that'd be awesome. But he has like this band. He plays like 90s music. So I'm gonna go.
He's gonna be like, he has this band. It's called like Creedence Clearwater Revival. No big deal.
So I'll probably be doing that. Maybe I'll catch a few fights on the phone. But the McKinney fight, I want to see. I want to see the McKinney fight. I want to see the Azaitar fight, and then I want to see that Valdez fight. But not many others. But let's talk some DraftKings. Kind of a tricky card from a DraftKings perspective. Like you said, Monk, a betting perspective. I have 2 bets right now. I'm probably going to add one more. I'll probably have 3 bets, which is like the least amount I've ever had. But it's one of those cards. Again, no Weezy. Weezy decided to take the week off. He said this card was so bad. And so instead of wasting his time breaking down some of these fights, he's going to do some things behind the scenes, which I don't blame him whatsoever. So
what does that say about us? Jesus, man.
I almost did the same thing, but I said, I'll get through it. So here we are. All right. So I say we get into it, guys. Before we do, so if you guys can smash the like button, subscribe here to Pub Sports Radio. It is always very, very much appreciated. We go live every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to kick it off with the fight to target. And I'll start us off here. There's a couple fights that actually stick out for the fights to target. And I'm going to go with the Nazim Sadykhov, Terrance McKinney fight to target here. So minus 500 for the fight doesn't go the distance. And honestly, I feel like that's even like too short. I feel like that should be like minus 1,000. Looks like FanDuel just put it at minus 750. And it's because it's a Terrance McKinney fight. Terrance McKinney, I think 17 fights. He's never been the distance. He's been over 2.5 rounds. Never. He's been to the 3rd round only once in his career. He's been over 1.5 rounds only once in his career. I think somebody's getting finished here. I think somebody's getting finished very early on, under 1.5 rounds. Sadykhov, 8,700. It's definitely an expensive price tag, but I think all he really has to do is survive that early storm that Terrance McKinney is going to bring. I'm actually picking Sadykhov to win this fight, but I'd be lying if I said Terrance McKinney doesn't have a serious chance in this fight. And if Terrance McKinney wins this fight, I think it's going to be very early on. So Terrance McKinney, probably one of my favorite dogs on the slate. But I'm going to have my exposure pretty split here, but it's going to be pretty dang near 100% owned. So I think somebody's getting served in this one. I think the winner puts up a massive score and probably a 1st round finish. Gordo, what is your favorite fight to target for this week?
Yeah, I have a big, fat, heavyweight slop fest circled here that's no longer on the card. So we're going to go down instead to Genaro Valdez versus Evan Elder. A very, very fun fight. A little bit more of an expensive target in Elder as one to target, but still one I think is going to be very, very fun as long as it lasts. Another one that has a juiced under. Both these guys bring a very heavy pace, and they like to fight to that extent. I know Elder's a durable guy. He did lose by cut last time, but he brings toughness. He brings a well-rounded game plan with some solid hands, some decent ground game as well. And whereas Valdez doesn't have that same tested cardio or same tested ground game, he throws with fight ending intention, and he is going to look to get Elder out of there early on. I think this fight ends inside the distance. I think it's one where, although the price tag is wide, I think Elder does get it done. With that being said, Valdez's path to victory is probably knocking the head off of Evan Elder, and he's still green. So I think the winner does score very well here.
I got frozen. Yeah, I know. That was the other one I written down. Monk, how about you? What's your favorite fight to target?
Yeah, those were definitely two on my list, plus the third one that Gordo mentioned that we did lose. So I'm going to get crazy, and I'm going to give you Viktoriia Dudakova, Istela Nunes this week for a fight to target. I think this is a must target. Guys, Dudakova, big-time grappler, obviously unproven, 6-0 against like Russian people that you've never heard of. But Istela Nunes, I'm more interested in her because every one of her opponents, Sam Hughes, Ariane Carnelosi, and whoever, I think it was Uregi, because I can't find the tab I'm looking for. They've all made the optimal lineup when they have fought Istela Nunes. They have each one of them has made the optimal. I don't even know another fighter whose all three opponents at minimum have made the optimal lineup.
Probably Daniel De Silva, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of, he's going for 0-5 in the UFC. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Who's he fighting again?
Chares.
That's right.
Just fought the other night.
That's going to be ugly.
That's a reward. That's what you get when you place Tara. You get De Silva
on short notice. Exactly. Put this dude to bed, Edgar, please. 109 for Istela Nunes is what she allows per fight. I don't have a ton else to say. Dudakova scored 4.5 a minute, 96 points when she won. If you would put DraftKings scoring on that DWCS fight. So obviously Dudakova, I think if she wins, she's going to make optimal because that's what Istela does. And if Istela wins and gets the experience battle here, she's going to make the optimal at 6,900.
Sounds good. That's a good fight to target as well. Weezy, what is your favorite fight to target for UFC Vegas 77?
Weezy, you're muted, bud.
He's muted. We got him. All right, Weezy, what do you got? Come on. Hello?
Quit playing games. Come on, Unk.
Weezy. All right. I don't know. We'll just move on. So let's go to our fight to fade here. Monk, we'll kick it right to you. Which fight are you fading for this week?
Oh, geez. Well, as I told you, my notes disappeared. So I'm just going to take the kind of obvious one, and I'm actually going to go against what the numbers say and fade the main event here. Holly Holm, Mayra Bueno Silva. Listen, Holly Holm, she's like I don't know. She's got a few wins. I think she's 3-2 or something in 5-round women's bantamweight fights. She does not even average 100 points. I believe she put up a decent score. And if you'll just bear with me because I'm so professional, she put up a decent score against... And now I can't even see it. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Irene Aldana, she put up 132 points. Very out of character for Holly Holm here. She does not even average 100 points in these 5-round wins. Mayra Bueno Silva on the other side, she's only averaging 90 points per win. She's won 3 times in the first round and has only put up 100 points one of those times. Like, she just does not score points. She gets you to the ground, and she does a lot of what I thought Bo Nickel would do in his second fight, but what he did in the first fight, which was not throw many strikes, get you on the ground, get position, and then submit you, which does not score well for us DraftKings guys and girls. So, yeah, I'm going to be fading this 5-round one, and I'm going to be looking elsewhere this week for some value.
Yep, don't hate it. For me, I am going to fade Norma Dumont going against Chelsea Chandler. I mean, if anything, I'll probably play some Chelsea Chandler, but I do think Norma Dumont wins this fight. Obviously she doesn't have a ton of high output. I don't see a ton of grappling success from the Dumont side. I think we get a pretty boring fight, probably a lot of cage pushing and not a lot going on. A fight that I just don't really want anything to do with. Probably not the most exciting fight either because it's a Norma Dumont fight, and I don't recall like ever seeing a exciting Norma Dumont fight. So I'm going to fade that one. There's a couple other options that stick out, but that was the one that kind of jumped off the page to me. Gordo, what fight are you fading for this week?
You might have to tell me those ones that stick out because I can make a decent case for a lot of these ones on one side or the other. I think there's a lot of individual fighters I want to fade rather than a fight as a whole. I'll tell you that for a fact. But I was with Monk in the main event. It's not often you're able to say you want to fade the main event in a 5-round fight like this, but I do think there is better value here. There is fights who are expected to end more at a distance. And with the Holly Holm fight, it's not necessarily one you need to target all the time. So that is the one I have circled here. But if you got more, you can fill in for me there.
Let me take a look here. I think the main event is fine. The Dumont fight, I don't want to play. I don't like the Eileen Perez fight. I know people really like Perez, but 8,800, no thank you. And I'm definitely not playing Ashley Evans Smith. I don't really like the Mel Costa fight, to be honest. Mel Costa and Austin Lingo fight. And I don't like, we'll talk about him in a second. But yeah, I see a couple that I don't really want a ton to do with. But let's move on to the fighter to fade. And it's going to be Melsik Baghdasaryan for me, 9,200. I'm picking to win this fight, but he has like 0 grappling upside. He's not taking down Tucker Lutz. Melsik has 0 takedowns in the UFC. And I kind of see him winning this fight, just being the better striker, landing the bigger shots across 3 rounds, winning a decision at 9,200. Don't see a ton of upside for him unless he knocks him out in like 60 seconds. But I don't think it's too likely. So going to be fading Melsik here at 9,200. Gordo, which fighter are you fading this week?
Yeah, I didn't mind that call. I do have him circled a bit farther down the list, but Norma Dumont's my fighter to fade here. That's kind of the reason I want to piggyback off you, because I want to talk about fading her here. 8.4. She's not really the highest ranking scorer. I feel like she dominated Wolf pillar to post, and she only put up 92 there. Only time she broke 100 was against the women's MMA GOAT and Ashley Evans Smith, who we might talk about later. But instead, we do have someone here who does fight at a slower pace, who likes to use her physicality, who doesn't really wow you in terms of volume and optics and that sort of thing. And for that reason, I don't think she's necessarily going to have much success in this fight, and not someone who I want to go out there and pay up for instead of the Prados and the Sadykhovs and the Prezes at this price range. So pass for me on the Norma Dumont.
And Monk, which fighter are you fading this week?
I was going to do Norma Dumont as well, but Gordo did a great job. So I'll give you half of the co-main event, I suppose. Albert Duraev just has not historically scored well. Jun-yong Park only has 1 loss in his past 5. That was to Gregory Rodriguez, where he was, basically had Gregory out cold on his feet and then got knocked out himself. So he did give up, a ton of points in that one. It was almost 120, actually, it looks like. But Duraev, less than 3 points a minute, only 80 points per win here against Chidi and against Kopylov. But that Kopylov win is aging pretty well. So I might be picking Duraev. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think this fight is extremely close and kind of difficult for me to pick, to be honest, because who doesn't love the Iron Turtle? But as far as DraftKings, I feel like this one goes to decision more often than not. And honestly, I don't think either guy scores really well. But I'm going to target Albert Duraev as a fighter to maybe fade at, 7,700 this week.
Sounds good to me. All right.
Can I... May I just, we're filling time without Weezy. May I ask Monk a question here?
Sure.
You got me in trouble for the muscle hamster. Where does the Iron Turtle rate? If you want to give us a little sneak peek.
High. It ranks high. It's a good one. It's unique. It sounds cool, and the muscle hamster. I just wasn't feeling it.
I'm learning. That's what I got. I'm tuning into the show. I'm picking up some stuff.
There you go.
I truly feel like I'm evolving as an MMA capper.
Exactly. That's all I try to do. Is give you the most information available.
How don't you like the muscle hamster, man? I mean, that's
trash.
What?
I mean, that picture's awesome. I'm not saying
it's the best picture I've ever seen.
Yeah, no. There's no debate about that. It is a good picture. I don't know best I've ever seen.
It's a muscle hamster.
Well, the guy that was originally named Muscle Hamster, Doug Martin, says in an interview that he hated that nickname because only short guys have that nickname, and he didn't want to be known as a short guy. So we had to get rid of it.
Short King.
Yeah. Excuse me.
How tall is Doug Martin?
I think he was like 5.
Oh, he's 5'9".
8. Okay, 5'9". Yeah.
So he's not that small. Okay. All right. So
we
yeah, we can move on. Weezy, any thoughts? Anything to add on?
He was indifferent, I think, on the muscle hamster.
All right. Time for our favorite dog. A couple options really sticking out this week. We'll kick it to you first, Monk. Who's your favorite dog on the entire slate?
Let's see. Well, if I could find his opponent, I could tell you. I'm gonna go, and actually, it's not my favorite dog. This card is crazy, but I'm gonna get weird, and this is probably a bad pick. I'm gonna go Austin Lingo because he's so cheap at 7,100. I actually like Melsik Costa to win, but I think the value on a guy who's been in the UFC, whether his record or numbers are good or not, compared to a guy that was thrown at, was it short notice against Thiago Moises? That's the only reason he would have been fighting him, right? So to thrown in on that fight, I think he's getting a reward as well fighting Austin Lingo, but maybe Lingo can pull something out. And at 7,100, I think it's worth a shot here. So he's going to be one of my, I wouldn't use the word favorite. I would change it to one of my higher owned dogs, I think, at least on this point, midway through the week on what is for sure to be a fantastic card. But yeah, I'm going to take a chance and go Austin Lingo here, and maybe he can upset the young fighter.
Where does Austin Lingo's nickname rank for you?
What's his?
Lights out. Lights out.
That's pretty good, man. It's
good.
pretty good. If you just say it, Austin Lights Out Lingo, that's off. That's good. The triple L or the double L right there, alliteration goes a long way in nickname capping for sure.
I think it'd be a better nickname if you actually was knocking people out.
I was going to say it also has to fit though. So unless he's talking about his living room before he leaves to go train, maybe he should think about something else.
Maybe he should reconsider for sure. Gordo, who is your favorite dog on the card, and why is it Terrance McKinney?
Yeah, like come on.
I wasn't Terrance McKinney. That's awesome of me.
I wasn't even necessarily going to talk about him, but I can't pass this opportunity up. Come on. He is what you call DraftKings gold when it comes to a fight to target. This guy goes out there, he fights at a super high pace, and if he doesn't get the finish in round one, the man just dies. He just falls off a cliff. And in a lot of these fights he's in, him or his opponents are getting finishes because he's never really, aside from that one match, never really been in the third round. And that's exactly what you're looking for in these DraftKings fights. You're looking for fights who are expected to finish inside the distance, score very well. And that's what Terrance McKinney does for you. At 7.5K, his win equity, just like all his wins in the UFC so far, is going to come in that very first round. Does it happen at a super, super high rate? Not necessarily, but it's something that you have to keep an eye on because when it does happen, it is going to score very well. He has the opportunity to go for takedowns, the opportunity to do some crisp striking on the feet. All you have to keep in mind is if this fight gets out of round one, your lineups are in trouble. However, I do like myself some Terrance McKinney this week. And T-Rex is a decent, sick nickname. That
is good. Yeah, man, a lot of good nicknames on this card. For me, I'm going to go with Ottman Azaitar, which I'm not sure if he has a nickname. I think they call him like
the Bag Man.
Yes, like Potato Man or something like that. But
Bag Man.
I don't know if he has like an actual nickname, but I'm going to go with him. It looks like this line's about to flip, so going to get some value here at 8,000. I think this fight probably can go either way, but I think, whoever wins this fight probably wins by knockout. Azaitar, this guy has I think a 92% finish rate, has finished all but one of his wins, and the majority of his wins do come in the very first round by knockout. This guy, Prado, he's a tough guy, but he blocks punches with his face, and blocking punches with your face against Azaitar is not really something you want to do. So I'm probably going to have a lot of McKinney. I think McKinney's going to be my highest owned dog, but close second is going to be Ottman Azaitar. I think they both have serious finish upside and in the first round as well. Now we'll move on to the prize picks section, and I'll kick us off. I'm going to go with the Jun-yong Park, the more on the significant strikes. It's set at 44.5, which seems kind of short for a fight that is projected to go the distance, for a fight that I do see primarily playing on the feet. I can see grappling either side a little bit, but Park averages about 5 significant strikes per minute. If this fight does go 15 minutes, I think it clears that 44.5 pretty easily. So give me Park taking the more on the significant strikes. Monk, anything sticking out to you for this week on Prize Picks?
Yeah, just a couple of them. I think I'm going to go with something in the main event here. Holm under 90.5 significant strikes this week. She's only gone over that, I believe, twice in her career. Granted, it was 2 out of the last 3 fights. So, sorry, Johnny, the trend is not on my side this week. I'll try to be better. But before that, it's capped at like 77 against Durandamy, and that was a 5-round fight as well. And she's also been landing more takedowns recently. So I really think that I think it's going to be difficult for her to get to 90 strikes, especially when Mayra Bueno Silva, it tends to work more on the ground and could really keep her from landing as many strikes as she usually does. So I think that's a pretty decent one, 90.5 under for Holm significant strikes.
All right, taking the under and the significant strikes for Holm. Gordo, how about you?
I'm tossing and turning, looking to pick one here. Let's go with a not so pretty one, but I don't mind it. Eileen Perez over 71.5 fantasy score. She's facing someone who's coming off a lengthy layoff, a steroid suspension, and who hasn't won a fight really since, it's over 5 years now, right? So 1-4 in the last 5 for Ashley Evans Smith, and I do think Eileen Perez is hungry at this point in time. She's going to be one to walk forward. Ashley Evans Smith averages over 4.5 strikes against per minute, and I think that Perez is going to be hungrier in the feet here and have the ability to win some of these clinch exchanges, be hungrier in the ground as well, as we have seen Ashley Evans Smith controlled and taken down. So to me, I just think there's one fighter hungrier than the other, and that fighter's lined at 70 fantasy points. I do think she gets over that this week.
All right, so we got the Perez over on the fantasy points, the Park over on the significant strikes, and then the Holm the lower on the significant strikes. And we'll see if we can go 3 for 3. I'm not sure how we did last week. Any thoughts? Monk, you usually keep track of that, right?
Usually. I was
not last week.
I've not been on top of it lately. I pulled a Weezy on everybody. So.
Okay, it happens. It happens.
It does.
I forget. I think I had the Tyara higher on the takedowns, 1.5, and I think he got 2 or 3.
That hit. I had Nico Price under 100 fantasy score, and I think that hit.
That hit. I have no idea what I said.
There we go. So we at least got.
So that hit too. 3 for 3. Let's go.
Hey, there we go. I like it. All right. Okay, so we'll move on. We have our favorite GPP play. I will kick us off here. I'm gonna go with someone that I'm shocked, Monk hasn't talked about yet, but maybe he was going to. It's his guy Jack Della Maddalena. He's 9,700, very expensive this week. And, typically on a different week, I might look to fade him, but I'll be honest, there's not a ton of options I really love this week, especially up in this top range. Like you got Mel Costi, who I don't have a ton of interest in, Eileen Perez, who I have no interest in, Baghdasaryan, I have no interest in. You got Maxim, who I don't have a ton of interest in. Elder, I do. Dudakova, I do. But Jack Della Maddalena, I can see him going out there and getting a first-round knockout. I can see him landing a lot of strikes up until then. I can see him getting some knockdowns in that first round. I think it's a good matchup for him. I think it's an interesting test for him because I think the guy that he is facing is not some complete bum. But I feel like Jack probably does get another first-round finish in this one. 9,700 is a very expensive. I'm hoping he's somewhat low-owned, but I doubt it. Give me Jack Della Maddalena here. Monk, who's your favorite GPP play this week?
Yeah, that's going to be mine as well for sure. I'll make it easy. Definitely Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, I talked about it last week, so I won't spend too much time on it. But guys, 8.7 points a minute overall, 8.7 points a minute inside the distance, and somehow you think Jack Della's a striker, 7.5 points per minute inside the distance. Yes, he's only spent 14% of that fight time total in the distance, but he's controlled 57% of that fight time, scored 114 points per win. At that price point, they can hit. So give me Jack Della Maddalena for sure.
All right, we got Jack Della. Gordo, who you got?
Yeah, a similar mindset there. But if we're talking GPP, let's talk about the guy right under him who I think is going to lose ownership because of Jack Della Maddalena, and that is Azat Maxim here. He's a guy who is a very, let's say, nice prospect for the UFC. Someone who's going to be very, very aggressive, someone who's going to be looked to be an entertaining fighter. When you're going to go out there and you're projected to do so well in your very first fight, when you have such aggression on the regional scene against some decent level of competition, we know necessarily that he's a guy that they're looking to keep an eye on. He's someone who's going to be very aggressive, not only in the feet, but also looking to get to the ground. And facing a 39-year-old Tyson Nam, I do think he has opportunities to get an early finish here. And if that's going to come at lower ownership because the Jack Della Maddalenas are going to be soaking it up top, I don't mind taking a shot on a guy who I think has round one finish potential, has grappling success as well, and has a decent ceiling here at 9.6. So another very expensive fighter, but I do think I like him a bit more because of the ownership coming at the Jack Della Maddalena side.
Yep, fair enough. He will definitely be lower owned. Interested to see his debut because he looks really good. Looks really good. But this is going to be an interesting test against a 40-year-old flyweight. So we'll see how he does. All right, let's go to our favorite cash play. We'll stick with you, Gordo. Who you like for cash this week?
Yeah, let's go with someone who isn't looking that pretty, or those are your words, not mine. Eileen Perez, someone I just talked about here. I already talked about really why she is someone who I was looking to play the over in her fantasy score, and I just think she has a decently high floor here. I don't think Ashley Smith is necessarily at a point of her career where she didn't go out there and start Eileen Perez early on. I don't think she's necessarily hungry enough to go out there and be in the right mindset to do so. So for that reason, I think Perez has a solid enough floor to, even in a loss, go out there and put up 40, 50 points with some high pace, high activity, and looking to win this fight overall. There's no doubt that Eileen Perez has a lot of improvement to do. She's very raw, not the best technically at all, but she's hungry. She'll go forward. She'll take a couple to give a couple. And adding in a cash game, I want someone who is going to have a decent floor to put up with the other risk and be taking these lineups. So Eileen Perez, 8.8, not the best price tag, but someone who I think has decent cash viability.
Yeah, I'm taking kind of the same route. I'm going 200 lower to Holm, someone who I feel like doesn't have the highest ceiling, but in cash, I'm definitely looking for that floor. I think this fight goes 5 rounds outside of a fluke Mayra Bueno Silva first round armbar. I think Holm should be better pretty much everywhere. I think she's gonna be the better striker. I think if she wants takedowns, she gets them. She just got to be careful if she does get on top. I think, like I said, I think this fight goes 25 minutes. And at the very least, I can see her putting up a solid score. So give me Holm. Not the best upside in the world, but somebody I feel like is safe and should win outside of, like I said, a fluke armbar. Monk, who's your favorite cash play for this week?
Love those picks. I'm going to give you Evan Elder this week. I haven't talked about him, but it seems obvious at least. I mean, unless this is Admiral what's his name from Star Wars. It's a trap. I'm just gonna kind of play Evan Elder in cash. Mostly because Valdez been finished once brutally and allowed the highest score in all of 2022 to Matt Frivola. It was like almost 160 points he gave up. Got knocked down like 14 times or something like that in about 14 seconds, it seemed like. But Valdez giving up 7.3 points a minute overall, 5.75 at distance, and over 10 points a minute inside the distance, allowing 127 on average over his 2 losses. These numbers are crazy bad. You don't have to hear that from me. So Evan Elder, I mean, both guys are, both 0-2. Lots of red on my screen that I'm seeing right now, but somebody's got to win this fight, right? So
really,
I guess give me Evan Elder as a decently safe play in cash.
Yep. I mean, yes, like you said, somebody's got to win. I actually like both guys. I mean, both these guys are super exciting. Right. But yeah, one guy has to lose here. One guy's going to go 0-3, which is interesting. So, all right.
If you use the Daniel Da Silva playbook, you still got 2 left. 2 left.
As long as you're exciting, you can lose as long as you want it. Unless you're Sam Alvey, then I don't know. I really don't know. But
eight not enough for you?
Yeah. I mean, if it was up to me, Daniel Da Silva would get a 10-fight contract, go 0-10, and have exciting fights. But it's not up to me.
We can find one guy he can beat, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't want to put him up against Malcolm Gordon or anything? See what happens.
Ooh, Daniel Da Silva versus Shannon Ross.
Oh my God!
Daniel Da Silva gets his first win, first round knockout.
That's going to be like the most must play and most not want to play fight I've ever seen.
I mean, it should be the main event, to be honest.
Who the hell would win? Who knows?
Oh.
I think I'd have to pick Da Silva, right?
Me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if you're getting knocked out by
Aguilar,
something's up if you're getting knocked out by Aguilar. That was wild.
And I had 9,600.
Oh no! 10,000. Daniel Da Silva. His floor is a 60-second knockout in that one. Oh, all right. So we'll move on to our value play, and I'll kick it off to Monk. Who's your favorite value play on the slate?
Well, I think there's a pretty obvious one. I think you guys already talked about him, but I haven't. So give me T-Rex, a little bit better than average nickname, pretty high up the list. Not the best, though. I mean, come on, guys. We got Jack Della 2 weeks in a row. Don Giacomo. Nobody's going to fucking beat that, especially not T-Rex. But give me Terrance McKinney, most value. This dude is, 7,500? And when he wins, he scores 110 on average. I mean, he put up 127. Bunch of people scoring 127 this week on the aforementioned Matt Frivola. So, yeah, if things go right for McKinney, his ceiling is literally like, what did the Willy Wonka trailer drop today? His ceiling is the same as the glass ceiling in Willy Wonka. So for that upside and at that price point, give me Terrance McKinney as the highest possible value.
All right. That's a really good one, Monk. I'm going to get a little wild here, though. I think this is somebody that has some serious value, to be honest. Like, I feel like this fight. What?
I said say it. I'm ready.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Okay. I'll say it. I'll say it for you, Gordo. I
said, shut up.
So, first of all, this line has came down a ton. Money poured in on one Tucker Lutz, and I think I saw Baghdasaryan at like minus 140 yesterday. It's now like minus 160, but still, we have a striker versus wrestler matchup. If Tucker Lutz wins this fight at 7K, he's going to get takedowns, control time. Obviously, Baghdasaryan has a striking advantage, but I just don't see why this guy's 9,200. I'm actually picking Melsik to win, but I think it's going to be so much closer than these salaries and this line does indicate. So give me Tucker Lutz, 7K. I think at the very least he goes 3 rounds and wrestles along the way, getting some takedowns, control time. But if he wins this fight at 7K and does get those takedowns, I think it will add it up and it'll put up a pretty big score at 7,000. And then Gordo, who's your favorite value play this week?
I read your mind there. I don't mind that one. And now it's my turn. Now we're talking so much about Daniel Da Silva. Let's give you guys the female Daniel Da Silva, Istela Nunes. All right, let's talk some value here. It's not pretty. I'm not proud of myself, but you know what? Truth is, she's going out there and she is losing fights and she's getting dominated, but she's facing someone who has not faced anyone that good yet. We got a prove it moment here for Viktoriia Dudakova. They're giving her a fight that she should be winning at a very high clip stylistically. But truth is, Istela Nunes is someone who has looked to be decent early on in terms of she throws good combinations. She has a ton of power in that first round. And against Carnelossi early on, she was stuffing those takedowns. I do view Carnelossi as a stronger, more physical fighter than Dudakova. And we did see some red flags on her Dana White Contender Series fight. So it's not pretty. Like, there's no getting past that. But the truth be told, Istela Nunes is someone who I think can go out there, have a chance to win a round one. If she wins, she's going to come in at super low ownership, have a super high ceiling. But after round one, or after even one takedown, she's probably a fish out of water there. But a risky one, but I don't mind it for some value.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'll have some Nunes as well. Just I think if she wins, like, it's probably a first round knockout. Like, I'd be surprised if it was really any other outcome other than like a first round knockout. And if she gets a first round knockout at 6,900, super low, and I think she's gonna probably break the slate there. We saw another fighter get a first round knockout, Denise Gomes, last week. It was like 10 seconds in. I mean, it was the most wild thing I've ever seen. Strawweight. I mean, it was
out of the fucking blue.
It's crazy. Hereki was like minus 400. Oh, I mean, it was wild. All right. So what we're gonna do now is go to our dart throw, and I'll kick us off. Yeah, I like that. I like that Nunes as a dart throw, but I'll give a different one here. I'm gonna go with someone who I don't think is that good at all, really, but he's a guy that will fight for your money. He's a guy that is very dangerous. He's a guy with, I think, 100% finish rate, and that guy is one Genaro Valdez. This guy is a complete madman. It looked like he toned it down a little bit in his last fight against Levy, but this guy typically comes out at you 120 miles per hour, trying to take your head off. Just using a ton of energy in that first round. And we've seen Elder hurt before. We've seen him put in some very bad spots on the mat. I think Valdez might have some opportunities, at least early. If this fight does get extended, I think Valdez cardio is pretty terrible, and, Elder's going to take over and all that. But I think Valdez is going to have some opportunities, at least early on, to maybe get a finish. So give me Valdez, 6,800. Definitely a dart throw there. Gordo, who's your dart throw for this week?
Truth be told, guys, I think I'm losing it. I had Nunes as my dart throw, and I missed my value play. My value play this week is someone I'm talking about now, if that's okay. I'm talking about Francisco Prado. He was my value play at 8.2. He was someone I think has a decent chance to win this fight. And I know you talked about Ottman Azaitar. I know you talked about someone you could rate in this spot here. But truth be told, Azaitar's path to victory is limited in a counterpunch. And although he's facing a guy who's super, super hittable and is going to allow that, the guy with more paths of victory in terms of the grappling, in terms of the minute winning, in terms of the optics, is me saying Francisco Prado in a fight that's expected to end inside the distance. At 8.2K, I do think Prado has a ton of value at his line here too. So of course, there's an opportunity for Ottman Azaitar to land a counter strike, but under the chance he can, if Prado really is a durable guy who's going to keep walking forward, Prado will be winning the optics, in my opinion. He will have more paths of victory, and I do think he has an opportunity to get it done. So that one should be a fun one there. And that's two Argentinian fighters I chose. So there you go.
So what was your dart throw?
Istela Nunes, 6.9. Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I switched the orders around. What's going on with me?
Oh, so that's what you did. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a little confused there. So, Monk, who is your dart throw for this week?
I'll tell you as soon as you tell me. Are you drinking rum through a pixie stick?
Mm-mm.
Am I close?
No, it's just a vitamin C drink.
Oh.
Okay. Because I'm feeling a little under the weather.
There you go. You got to get that vitamin C in you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This is probably dumb, but we're doing dart throws, right? That's the exactly what this is. Veteran versus newcomer. Tyson Nam. Why not? Why not? Yes, he is. I know you're all screaming at me. He's 3-2 in his last 5. Only wins over Matt Schnell and Bruno Silva. Those aren't actually terrible wins. Ode Osborne, or sorry, those are his losses. Yes. His losses, Matt Schnell and Bruno Silva, wins over Ode Osborne, Jerome Rivera, and Adashev as well. So while I think that I would never bet against a guy who comes out with that flag, with a Z in his name, wearing an animal on his head, I don't give Tyson Nam an absolute zero chance. Give me at least a dart throw for him this week.
All right. Yep. I mean, he's 40 years old, but the last thing to go is that
Holy
power.
shit, I forgot he was 40 years old.
Yeah, he's one of the oldest flyweights that I can
Yikes
on my head. But the last thing to go is that power. Is Guido Canetti still in the UFC, or did he get cut?
I think he's Gonzo Alonso.
I think he's gone. Yeah, dang it. I like Canetti, but he was 43 years old at flyweight. So
yeah.
So Nam might be the oldest flyweight right now off the top of my head. All right. We'll see if he can get it done, but I don't know. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at our lineups from last week. Last week was crazy big scores.
It was the complete opposite of the week before.
Yes. Do you know, was last week's optimal lineup the highest score ever?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll look while you set this up.
Okay, because it was crazy. But so last week we have in 4th place Gordo. He had Tatsura Taira with 99, Vitor Petrino 103, Jalen Turner 48, Menafield 82, Pantoja 143, and Yair Rodriguez 19, scoring 496.03, which on any other week, that is a phenomenal lineup. Phenomenal lineup, which goes to show you how crazy last week was. In 3rd place was Monk, Cameron Simon 116, Volkanovski 135, Petrino 103, Menafield 82, Lawler 128, and Rodriguez 19, scoring 585.82. In 2nd place was myself, Simon 116, Volkanovski 135, Turner 48, Menafield 82, Pantoja 143, and Dricus Duplessis 113, scoring 639.68. I scored 639. I wasn't even 1st place, but 2 points ahead of me was Weezy, 1st place, Volkanovski 135, Turner 48, Petrino 103, Menafield 82, Pantoja 143, and Robbie Lawler 128, 641.63. Congrats to Uncle Weezy. He did so well last week that he took a week off this week, and you deserve it, Weezy. So we're gonna go to the current standings. In 4th, we have Monk with 9,080 DraftKings points. 3rd place, Weezy with 9,454. 2nd place, myself with 9,886. And first place is Gordo with 9,017. Monk is 836 behind Gordo. Weezy's 462 behind Gordo, and I'm only 30 points behind Gordo. I am coming. Is it this week? I don't know, but if not this week, it might be next week. How you feeling, Gordo?
You need to record that Yuri Prohaska video. I am coming. You just gotta, you gotta let me know I'm in for a treat. But no, it's getting close. Those lineups were insane last week.
They were.
It was a fun week.
It was.
And yes, in fact, I just had it pulled up last week, and I can't believe I didn't even recognize this. So good on you. 793.93, the highest score since I've been really tracking this shit hardcore beginning of 2021. 2nd highest was UFC 272, scored 762.70. And if you don't know, that was Colby and Jorge, where Colby scored a mazillion points. That was RDA Moicano, where RDA scored a mazillion points at like 7,300 or something crazy like that. Yeah, so, and then it beat that card by 30 points.
My goodness. Wild week. Wild
Stuff.
Wild week. All right, so I'm probably gonna change my lineup for this week. I completely hate it, and it's going to get changed. But up top, I'm going Jack Della Maddalena, going Evan Elder, I'm going Holm, I'm going Terrance McKinney, I'm going Lutz, and then I'm going to go with Chandler. But there's like a 99% chance I'm changing this. Monk, what do you got for this week?
I'm gonna go, and yeah, I'm sure most of ours will probably change this week. Jack Della, we're gonna go Viktoriia Dudakova over the optimal lineup maker, Istela Nunes. We'll go Alexander Munoz, Ottman Azaitar, the Bagman, Terrance McKinney, and Austin Lingo at 7,100.
We didn't talk about the Munoz fight at all, but I like Munoz too.
So I like Munoz. High wrestling upside here.
Like he's going to. Yeah, he's going to wrestle, and I think he's a great cash play. So I'm going to.
Somebody's got to win that fight too. Both guys.
Somebody has to. Yeah. Somebody has to. Yeah, I like that call, Monk, and I'll probably be adding him. Honestly, that's a good call. Gordo, who do you like, or what's your lineup for cash this week?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on because I talked about a fighter in GPP and a fighter in cash, and they're both not in my lineup. But we still have Jack Della Maddalena up top, Evan Elder, Francisco Prado, Alex Munoz, Terrance McKinney, and the GOAT, Istela Nunes.
My goodness. What a week. Yeah. What a week.
Terrance McKinney and Istela Nunes in the same lineup. Let's go.
Yeah, I got McKinney too, and I had somebody else kind of crazy. I think I had Tucker Lutz. So it's one of those weeks. Kind of a tough week. Tough week for sure. All right, so we're going to answer some questions here, give our quick picks, and then head out. Kind of a shorter show, only 3 people as expected. If you guys have any questions in the chat, be sure to type them in right now. We'll get to you, and of course, smash that like button. This one can go to Gordo. Is the DFS card worse than the actual card? What do you think is worse, the card or the DFS side of things?
I think the card is genuinely. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I think you could still have some fun DraftKings opportunities on this card. It's not very often you're able to see people like Istela Nunes or Junior Valdez have opportunities to score big like this. I think there is upside to it. I think there are fights that I might be missing for sure. But I do think it's a card I'll still be playing on DraftKings. Maybe I'm just an optimist though.
I think I agree with that. This one can go to Monk. Where's Uncle Weezy?
You know, like you said, he won last week, and all we heard, I saw a bunch of papers go up into the air, and then like a cloud of dust, and just he was gone. His legs were moving like in a circle, like a cartoon, and then he was just gone. So I don't know.
He got
Hope he's doing
abducted
all
by
right.
Sergey Spivak.
Oh no!
Spivak got him. He got Spivak. Dang it! He forgot to wear his garlic necklace and forgot his crucifix.
We told him.
We told him. All right. Press is saying when Carl Deaton is on the card, you can't miss it.
I saw that.
That is so true. That is so true. We got Razor in the building. What is up, Razor? Brav saying the Iron Turtle, Muscle Hamster.
Yeah, for sure.
I gotta agree.
Also, someone was talking about the $7,500 salary, and if we just have a minute, it won last week.
Pantoja last week, I think.
Pantoja. The week before it was Lipsky over Gatto, and the week before that it won as well. It was I'd already looked, but I forgot. It was Cedric Dumas over Cody Brundage. So 3 weeks in a row. Good eye, somebody, whoever mentioned that. Sean V looks like good eye, Sean. 3 weeks in a row for that dog salary.
Yeah, Sean is kind of good with the salaries, man. He has all the stats.
This is probably not true, but I'm going to pretend they're my salary. They're my salary. Voodoo.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's been watching Salary Voodoo.
That's right.
Because he's always talking about the 9,500 salary. I'm like, Monk has that. So
those are markers. You can tell the real ones know what's up.
Yes, sir. Something else I was gonna bring up. Never mind. I forget. All right. This one can go to Monk. Is Ronda Rousey fighting this week?
I'm surprised that's not what's her name's nickname, because half the Russian women we've seen have the nickname Ronda or Ronda Rousey or something. So I don't think so.
Russian Ronda.
And hopefully, Russian Ronda. Hopefully not anytime soon. Can you imagine? I mean, this game is pretty even at lower levels. Unless she's been doing some crazy training no one knows about, this game, you could say has surpassed her skills pretty good. I mean, she used to dominate people with head and arm throws, and now we fucking talk shit about how many head and arm throws there are in women's MMA and how they don't work. So, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I think it'd be cool, but I don't know. And then I think this one can go to Gordo, which is a good question for you because we were on the Jack Della side, but you were kind of more on the Ozat side.
Yeah, and I think that if you ask me to pick one of the two, I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, we don't have a line for it yet, but he's minus 250 to end under 7.5 minutes. And I think that he's going to be favored to win in the first round just because that's really been the trend for someone like Jack Della Maddalena. And whereas Azat Maxim's still minus 125 to win inside the distance and is still a very viable option, he doesn't have that same projected implied finish ability early on. With that being said, if we're talking about ownership, you could get a guy like Jack Della Maddalena who could have a 125, 130 point ceiling at a higher ownership, or you can get a guy in Maxim who maybe doesn't have that same ceiling, but could still put up just as many points in a win at lower ownership. If you have to make me pick one, I'm picking Jack Della Maddalena, but I don't mind taking Maxim for that contrarian play.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself. I'll answer these next two. Is Alex Munoz, Michael Chandler in disguise? No. And is there any chance McKinney improved his cardio? No. He came out last time trying to pace himself, and he's still gassed out. I think he should just go back to being like a shit-eating wild man. I think that's McKinney's best path to victory there. And just don't pace yourself. So yeah, guys, we did it. We answered all the questions with everything. Last thing we have to do is do our quick picks. Last week we did it really quick. We were like, okay, what dogs do you got? This week we'll just go through it. We have time. So I'm going to take up top in the main events. Give me Holly Holm. I have no idea who to pick in the Jun-yong Park fight. Help me out, guys. Who should I pick?
Well, apparently Duraev is calling himself Machete now, so.
Oh, okay. Give me Duraev, because it's a
There you go.
50-50 fight in my opinion. Going to go to decision. The judges probably screw it up anyway. So give me the dog and Duraev. Give me this card, man.
Woohoo.
Dumont or Chandler? Chandler, I guess. Prado, Azaitar. Give me Azaitar. Give me Eileen Perez, Maxim, Alex Munoz, Evan Elder, Dudakova, Sadykhov, Costa, Baghdasaryan, and Jack Della Maddalena. That was tough. Monk, what do you got for this week?
Well, I think mine are out of order, so excuse that. Also, see a Monk picking 7 dogs this week.
Holy
And one of them is Ashley Evan Smith, so I'm not reading his picks. I'm going with my own shit. You don't pick Ashley Evan Smith and just get away with it. I'm sorry. If he's right, then whatever. I'll check for sentience, but we'll see. I'll go Aileen Perez decision. We'll go Munoz decision. We'll go Maxim finish. Elder decision. JDM, Don Giacomo by finish. We'll go Costa decision. We'll go Dudakova decision. We'll go Baghdasaryan finish. McKinney finish. Azaitar finish. Chelsea Chandler decision. Unfortunately, I cannot pick Walt Harris nor Josh Parisian. Womp womp. We'll go Albert Duraev by decision, and then Holly Holm decision.
And last but not least, Gordo, what do you got?
We'll take Eileen Perez to start it off, Alex Munoz, Azat Maxim, Evan Elder, Jack Della Maddalena, Melk Costa. I'm not pronouncing his name. Melk Costa. And I'm doing it. Let's go Istela Nunes, because why not? Istela Nunes. I could look like an idiot. I kind of do look like an idiot, but I'll take it. Melsik Baghdasaryan, although I more so agree with the line movement. Now, let's continue being an idiot and take Terrance McKinney. Francisca Prado, Chelsea Chandler, Albert Duraev, Holly Holm. Wow, I just picked 2 Argentinian fighters, Istela Nunes and Terrance McKinney on the same card. What is life?
You picked
might look like a genius this time next week. We'll see.
I don't know. This card's tough. I feel like a lot of these fights could go like either way.
Is London next week?
Yeah, London's next week, and then 291. Yeah, Aspinall should be a pretty fun fight for as long as it lasts, which is going to be.
If we can get past this one, I'll never complain about another card.
No, we have 2 really good cards coming up. UFC London, and then 291 is just an absolute banger. But
who's that?
That's
Gaethje.
the
Oh yeah.
And the who's the co-main? The Pereira and Blachowicz, right?
Blachowicz, yep. And it also has Aliskerov versus Costa and Ferguson and Green, and goes on.
Lewis,
Roger de Lima.
Yeah. So good cards coming up. This is not really one of them, but it is what it is. All right, so going to kick it around. Gordo, plans for this week for some content.
I'm keeping it short and simple this week. My full card breakdown is already live on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel, Draftkings, betting. I even did some Rainmakers once again this week. We got it going on a card like this. Talk that all over again on the Plays and Fades YouTube channel. Posting my betting slate on Friday and do some work for Daily Fan MMA tomorrow. That is about it. I wish everyone the best luck on this rocky watered card, and let's go Istela Nunes.
Are you being serious?
I don't know. I tried to think of something funny to say, and that's just what my head's at right now. I picked Istela Nunes publicly in 2023.
Well, hopefully she knocks her on the first round, because I'm thinking about betting like the under, or like the fight doesn't go.
I have.
So we'll see. All right. Monk, let the people know where they can find you in your plans for this week for this banger card.
Well, I have nothing out yet, but that is all changing tomorrow. Pretty much everything's going to be dropping tomorrow. I just need to finish throwing together Game Theory. It's already recorded, edited. I just got to take out one of the fights, unfortunately. Salary Voodoo will be out. I'm doing the nickname show tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And tonight, you can find me on Addicted to Combat's channel in about 10 minutes. We will be going live to break down this banger of a card. So, yeah. Check all that out and try to, this might be a shitty week in terms of, name value, but there could end up being some bangers on there. People always say a lot of these times, these low-ranked cards end up having some of the better fights. So we'll see. But, shouldn't be complaining too much more after this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't have a ton of hope for this card, but maybe every fight is exciting anymore. I don't know. But yeah, so I have a lot of content to get out still. I'm gonna get my full card breakdown out tomorrow. Did my DraftKings video today, going live Friday for some final thoughts, and then Saturday with some best bet. Thinking about getting Danny Betts on and hopefully Narco Cop as well. So check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, enjoy the card. We'll be back for UFC London next week, and see you guys later.